What is the secret that I quote from the Quran in and out and I give references? It's an open secret. The open secret is the Quran. Allah says in the Quran, number one, there are 3 points. I'll go step by step. Number one, Allah says in the Quran in Surah Al-Imran chapter 3 verse 160, if Allah helps you, none can overcome you. If Allah forsakes you, who is there then who can help you? So let the believers put their trust in Allah. Number one is help of Allah. Without Allah's help, you cannot do it. That's the reason yesterday when the program was titled, Ask and you shall be answered, I corrected. Ask and inshallah you shall be answered. If inshallah is not there, you ask me, brother, what is 2 plus 2? And believe me, I am not able to answer. So number one is Allah's help. If Allah helps you, none can overcome you. If Allah forsakes you, who is there then who can help you? So let the believers, the moments, put their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number one is Allah's help. Number two, Allah says in Surah Ankabut chapter 29 verse 69, you strive in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do jihad fi sabilillah, and Allah will open up your pathways. So number two is striving in the way of Allah. If you strive, Allah promises, He will open up your pathways. If your pathways aren't open, it's not Allah's fault, it is your fault. You have not striven enough correctly. So if you are striving and you don't get success, don't blame Allah. Allah promises, if you strive, you have to get success. If you don't get success, that means the way you are striving is not correct. Or how much you are striving is not enough. Hard work. People think, oh, Zakir just coming in. It is hard work. People think Zakir gets up from the sleep, okay, today morning is the talk. So I was discussing Dr. Bilal Phillips in the morning, that it is, even though I've given the talk many times, there are thousands of verses from the Quran, from the Hadith, from the Bible. The more you polish, the more you reach perfection in terms of delivery. And we are human beings, we can make mistakes. We don't say we are infallible, not at all. Only Allah is infallible. So first is belief in Allah, second is striving. Number third, Allah says in Surah Nahl, chapter 16, verse 43, and Surah Anbiya, chapter number 21, verse number 7. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلِ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't know, ask the person who's an expert, who's knowledgeable. Third is the technique. Third is the technique. And people ask me, brother, what's the technique? You should ask me, how do you get Allah's help? See, the third least important people ask me, what is that? They have to ask me, which is the most important? How you get Allah's help? Brother, what's the technique? Let us know. Technique is least important. With all the technique in the world, if Allah does not help you, you will never be able to do it, believe me. Never. So number one is Allah's help. How to get Allah's help? Read the Quran, follow the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, read the Sahih Hadith, follow the commandments of the Prophet. The more closer you get to Allah and the Rasul, inshallah more success you'll get. Second is striving. Here, brother. You have something?
I please have this question answered, sorry. But I have a problem. I have a problem of Allah is so merciful, right? And He's getting me to come to His ways by teaching me certain verses and so forth in the Quran and here and there. But I feel that the way of getting to Allah, to get closer to Him and to show my response back to Him for what He has done for me, that's the kind of help I need. Like, how do I do that? I used to have this compassion in my heart that whenever I spoke to anybody, at work or anybody, I would do it with such a smile and so much pleasure. But I have lost that pleasure in my heart. I want to get to that back again and do that.
MashaAllah. The brother, he says that he wants to do something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he wants to spread his message, so he has lost that which he had earlier. How does he do it? Our beloved Prophet Muhammad said in Sahih Bukhari, Ballighu anni walau ayah. Propagate even if you know one verse. So best is you start, as long as you know correctly. What you don't know, you should not speak. If you know one thing, you know about Allah, no Surah class, at least propagate that. If they ask you how you don't know, no problem. Don't give wrong answers. Come back and do your homework. We have a Dawah training program as far as the third aspect is concerned, the training session. We have training session where we train du'at, and how to have public speaking, and how to memorize, and how to give references. And believe me, even a Hafiz al-Quran who is a hafiz of the Quran, they cannot give references. They cannot give references. They can quote the Quranic verse in Arabic, alhamdulillah, if they are good. They cannot give references. This is a different technique. And technique is again based on Allah and the Rasul. It's nothing something. You know, we have a student who have done MBA, who have done mapping and triangle. I don't know whether you know of all these techniques of memory, you know. MBA students, you know, we have done MBA and, you know, mapping and triangle and so forth. And this logic and systematic logic of whatever it is. Initially when they start the course, in the first couple of days, they are on top. Towards the end of the day, end of the course, they are behind. Best technique is Allah's help. They, in this session, no one has the time. See, people think I'm Hafizul Bible. I'm not. Sheikh Didas also was not. Sheikh Didas, mashallah, my guide, my mentor, the person who inspired me. And the reason I'm here, mashallah. I know, mashallah, you are the great scholar on Islamic comparative religion. I consider myself to be a student. But even he did not know the full Bible. What we do, we tell you what is required. We first do a survey and first gather all the verses quoted by the Christian missionary. So what we do, all the verses of Christian missionary that I've quoted, how many? Maybe a few hundred. Then another couple of hundred verses to prove the Islamic point from the Bible. Only 3-4. The Bible may have few thousand verses, not few thousand, I don't know. Maybe 20,000-30,000 verses, I don't know. I haven't done a survey. But tens of thousands of verses, out of which you memorize only a couple of hundred. And he tells you, but the Zakir, Jesus said, peace be upon you and my father upon. Oh, you're quoting Gospel of John, chapter number 10, verse 29, and he's shocked. I am quoting the verse, he's giving reference. Half the battle is won. He's stunned. The Christian missionary doesn't know the reference. Half the battle is won. Who is this person? He's quoting reference from my book. I am a missionary and he's quoting. There itself. And then you have to know your stuff also. Like I was doing an interview and the person asked me the same question. I gave the reference, the context. I asked him, what is the context? He doesn't know the context. He's been brainwashed. Okay, this is sufficient. I said, do you know the context? He says, no. Okay, I'll give you the context. Go to verse number 23. And that has been memorized. So we give you, like, you know, when you appear for an examination. In India, we have 21 most likely questions. You know? Everywhere you have, you know, that if you want to get through, the most likely question. So we prepare a package for you. Remember these 50 verses of the Bible? Inshallah, it will be very good. Another 50 verses of the Bible, then you can debate with the Pope also. Same thing with the Quran. You can memorize the full Quran, but these few verses, first we memorize these 50 verses of the Quran. It is more important for dawah and answering the question of non-Muslim. Then another 50, then another 50. Now it has become thousands, mashallah. But when you start, even if you know a couple of hundred verses of the Bible, if not all, you can answer most of the questions of the non-Muslims. Instead of you memorizing the answer of 200 questions, which are uncommon, memorize the answer of only 20 most common questions, you'll do a better job. With reason, logic and science. You know, scientific answer, logical answer, with scriptures, quoting the Vedas. And it's a 40-day course only. It's a 40-day course where, if you do that course, you know, it is striving hard in that course. It's long, it's more than 12 hours a day, and a lot of homework, etc. If you do this course, inshallah, you know, you are at least, you have some knowledge of how. But the main thing is Allah's help and how much you strive.